Hi everyone, my name is Naya Montgomery and I would like to present to you my interpretation of courage along with Maxwell's helpful tips of how to become a courageous leader. With that being said, let's get started. First, let's dive into the definition of courage as it is important for us to establish a base meaning before we go any further. Courage is the ability to do something that frightens one. In fact, Maxwell states courage is doing what you're afraid to do. There can be no courage unless you're scared. I think this is a great motivational piece that encourages us not to let our fear prevent our success. For example, my most memorable experience with courage began as a recent college graduate with my bachelor's in 2018. The idea of going into the world competing against experienced candidates for human resources jobs was frightening. Although I was intimidated, I gave it my all and began applying for entry-level roles. After months of interviews and rejection, I began to lose hope. I was told I was qualified but too young, sometimes told inexperienced, and sometimes just plain rejected. However, one day I came across a posting for a human resource coordinator at Coca-Cola and decided to face my fear of rejection and apply one more time. Shortly after, I received a call for a phone interview. I was overjoyed. I did so well that the recruiter scheduled me for an in-person interview. The entire drive to that interview, I felt defeated, as if I was setting myself up for failure, but I went anyway. The interview went so well that my boss offered me the job on the spot. After being hired, to my surprise, my boss told me that he purposely placed me as the last interview because I already had the job from the phone interview as long as I didn't mess it up in person. If I would have let my fear of rejection from the other jobs stop me from applying to this job, I wouldn't be one of Coca-Cola's top coordinators in the Atlanta region. I say this to say don't let your fear of rejection or fear of anything stop you from achieving success. Qualities of a Courageous Leader by Maxwell. Number 1. Courage begins with an inward battle. This talks about how we must step out of our comfort zone and just go for it. Number 2. Courage is making things right, not just smoothing them over. This talks about knowing how to make others compromise when it's needed, as well as knowing when to step in and take a stand. Number 3. Courage in a leader inspires commitment from followers. This talks about the idea that courage is contagious and can encourage others to be courageous as well. Lastly, number 4, your life expands in proportion to your courage. This talks about how everyone experiences fear, but how much you will allow it to limit you is what makes the difference. In these helpful tips, Maxwell explains that you must not let your fear prevent you from being a courageous leader. In conclusion, I'll leave you with this quote from Walt Disney. All of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Disney himself was once fired for not being creative enough, and several of his ventures actually went bankrupt. Despite these failures, he kept trying, which led to the creation of one of his most famous pieces, known as Mickey Mouse. Like Maxwell said, face the music, talk to that person, take that giant step. Whatever you have been preventing yourself from doing because of fear, just do it. Let's all make today a courageous day. Thank you.